You are standing on a hill above a city. Below you, 1 million people are going about their day. Not farmers, not villagers. 1 million people in the largest, most complex, most dangerous city the ancient world has ever produced. The year is around 100 AD. The emperor is Trajan. The Roman Empire controls everything from Scotland to the Sahara, from Portugal to the Persian border. And at the center of all of it, this city, Rome. Nothing like it existed before. Nothing like it would exist again for over 1,000 years. But here is what almost nobody tells you. This city was not built for beauty. It was built as a machine to project power, move resources, and extract wealth from 3 continents at the same time. And if you actually walked through it on an ordinary morning in 100 AD, it would shock you, not because it was magnificent, because it was nothing like what you imagined. Start at dawn. The streets are completely dark. No street lights, no lit shop fronts, just black alleyways and oil lamps carried by the few people moving before sunrise. And those alleyways are nothing like the marble avenues you picture when you think of Rome. Most of the city is a maze. Streets so narrow that 2 carts cannot pass each other. So narrow that sunlight never fully reaches the ground. Lined with 7-story apartment buildings so poorly constructed, they collapse regularly and burn constantly. Rome has no real fire department. What it has are watchmen whose main job when a fire starts is to stop looting. The higher you live in these buildings, the cheaper the rent. The poorest Romans live at the top, furthest from the water, furthest from the food stalls, carrying everything up 7 flights of stairs every day. And the smell. There are no household toilets in most Roman apartments, no trash collection. The street is where food scraps, human waste, dead animals, and workshop runoff all end up. Tanning leather, dyeing fabric, smelting metal, all of it happening beside the food stalls. So why would 1 million people choose to live here? Because Rome offers something no other place can match. Security, free food, entertainment. The grain dole alone feeds 1/3 of the city every single month. If you are poor anywhere in the ancient world, this is still the best city to be poor in. Now the sun rises, and Rome transforms. The noise hits first. Roman law bands wheeled cart traffic inside the city walls during daylight hours. The congestion is too severe, so every delivery, every load of marble, every cask of wine for 1 million people arrives at night by cart. At dawn, the carters leave, and the city erupts with foot traffic. By mid-morning, the forums are full. Not one forum, multiple forums, because one was never enough for Rome. The old Forum Romanum is the center of legal and political life, lawyers arguing in the open air, officials receiving petitions, crowds watching public executions, sacrifices at temples so old that nobody can accurately remember when they were built. But around this ancient core, emperors have been building their own forums for over a century, each one larger than the last, each one a statement, a competition in stone between dead men. And then there is the Forum of Trajan. What Trajan built here will stop you completely. The Basilica Ulpia, the largest building in Rome. 2 libraries side by side, one for Latin texts and one for Greek. And rising from the center of the complex, a column, 100 feet tall. Wound from base to top with carved figures telling the story of Trajan's greatest war. 2,500 carved soldiers, rivers crossed, cities burned, prisoners taken. The entire conquest of Dacia in spiraling stone relief. But here is the part that changes everything. The Forum of Trajan was not built with Roman money. It was built with Dacian gold. 160 tons of it. Seized when Trajan crushed the Dacian kingdom and dragged their treasury back to Rome. That gold paid for the column, for the libraries, for every stone in the complex. This is what Rome actually was, a machine that turned conquered wealth into monuments. Every spectacular building you can name had a war behind it. Follow the crowd west and you reach the Capitoline Hill, the most sacred ground in Rome. The Temple of Jupiter at the top, the largest temple in the Roman world, dedicated to the king of the gods. And below it, carved into the slope, the state archives, centuries of treaties, laws, financial records, stored in stone on a hilltop, every alliance ever made, every general who triumphed, every tax paid, all of it here. Now walk south. Here is where something extraordinary happened to the landscape itself. The Palatine Hill is where the word palace comes from, because the emperors built their residences here, and over generations, those residences became so enormous, they swallowed the entire hill. The whole thing is now one continuous imperial complex. Vaulted halls, artificial lakes, audience chambers where the most powerful man in the world receives visitors from every corner of the earth. From here, the emperor can look directly down onto the Circus Maximus. 250,000 seats, 250,000 people in a single stadium. When the chariot races run, you can hear the roar from miles. Outside the city walls, the crowd is not civilized. It is partisan and violent and completely consumed by the competition between the racing factions. Rich senators and slaves betting on the same horses. Every social division in Rome dissolved by the noise. On race days, the city practically stops. Now walk east, toward the valley between the hills. The Colosseum opened 20 years before this morning. 50,000 seats, 80 numbered entrances with tickets specifying your section, your row, your seat. 50,000 people filling an arena in minutes. Below the arena floor is a hidden world. Cages for animals, counterweight lifts, trap doors. The entire machinery of spectacle concealed beneath a wooden floor covered with sand. The Latin word for sand is arena, which is why we still call it that. The program runs all day. Animal hunts in the morning, executions at midday, gladiatorial combat in the afternoon. Every class in Rome watching together, separated only by seating tier. Senators at the front, women and the poor at the very top. But stop and ask the real question. Why does Rome do this? Not for entertainment, not only. These games are a political instrument. An emperor who cannot feed and entertain Rome cannot rule Rome. Bread and circuses, feed the crowd, distract the crowd, keep the energy of 1 million restless, politically aware, unemployed urban citizens pointed at chariot races instead of at the palace on the hill above them. The entertainment is the most sophisticated crowd control system ever invented. Now follow the water. Rome has 11 major aqueducts. Some run for over 90 miles from mountain springs outside the city. Together, they deliver over 1 billion liters of fresh water every single day. Not just to public fountains, though there are over 1,000 of those. To the baths. The baths of Trajan, opened just before this morning, cover an area larger than many modern city blocks. Hot rooms, warm rooms, cold rooms, swimming pools, exercise courts, libraries, gardens, snack bars. Entry is free or nearly free. The senator and the freed slave wash in the same room. The water comes from the same aqueduct. The baths are where Rome actually happens, where deals are made, where gossip spreads faster than fire, where the city takes its daily temperature. A Roman who skips the baths is genuinely unusual. Now stand at the top of the Janiculum Hill at sunset and look east over everything. The roofline is not uniform white marble. It is orange and brown terracotta tile. Wood smoke rising from thousands of hearths. The gold of temple roofs catching the last light. The dark mass of the Colosseum. The column of Trajan visible from miles away. The Tiber bending south toward the sea. Somewhere in that roofline, a man from Gaul, a woman from Syria, a merchant from Egypt, a soldier from Numidia, a philosopher from Greece, all of them living inside the same city walls, 100 languages spoken, temples to a dozen foreign gods standing beside Roman temples, Jupiter and Isis and Mithras and the unnamed god of the Jews, all with worshippers within walking distance of each other. This is what empire actually looks like. Not a parade of soldiers, a city absorbing the world, and underneath all of it, a permanent fear. Because everyone in Rome, from the emperor to the poorest person on the top floor, knows something the monuments are designed to hide. This city runs on a knife's edge. The grain supply can be disrupted by a single storm in the Mediterranean. The water stops the moment an aqueduct is cut. The peace of 1 million people depends entirely on the games running, the bread arriving, and the army staying loyal. Empires do not fall slowly. They fall when the machine stops, when the grain ships are late, when the soldiers are not paid. When one bad harvest hits at the same moment as one political crisis. Rome at its peak is the most impressive thing humans ever built, and it is always one decision away from collapse. That tension is not a flaw. It is the engine. It is why they built so obsessively, why they carved victories into stone columns, why they created spectacles of such overwhelming scale. Because if you stop building, if you stop feeding, if you stop entertaining the million people on that hill below, you stop being subjects. They become a problem. We still build stadiums. We still distribute free entertainment to restless populations. We still use monuments to project power and hide fragility. The machine Rome invented never stopped running. We just gave it different names.